A lot of young people going back to college very soon, and if you have a young person who is on their way to school, maybe for the first time, you might want to sit down and have a little talk about responsibilities such as drinking. Did you know 42% of college students report binge drinking? Helen Jones-Kelly is the Executive Director of Montgomery County's Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board, joining us this morning with more on things that parents can talk to their young people about. So good to meet you. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We talked a little bit earlier, and this story has come up in the past, and I was asking you about the definition of binge drinking. I remember several years ago, it seemed like the definition was a little bit unrealistic. And you tell me the definition of binge drinking has actually changed in that time.
It has changed, and it becomes even more reduced than what it used to be.
Really? Now, I find that a little surprising.
Well, I think we're learning more about the physiology of bodies and learning that there's an impact that alcohol has, even in a very, very short period of time. So binge drinking now is 5 drinks for a male within a 2-hour period and 4 more drinks for a female within that same period of time.
I would think by reducing what is considered binge drinking makes your job a little bit harder.
It does.
Yeah.
But it also allows us to get ahead of the curve if people are paying attention to this, especially with their young people as they're heading off to college.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things that parents can talk to their young person about. And number one, you say, is educate your child about the effects of binge drinking.
Absolutely, and it doesn't start the day that you're heading off to campus with them. It starts when they're very young. Having honest conversations about the impact of alcohol and being honest about our own. If as parents we're drinking in front of our children, we need to be honest, not to be their friend, but to be their parent, to provide direction.
What about this notion that if you let a person who's maybe in high school or headed off to college, if they have a beer or two around the house, something like that, that it sort of takes that mystery away and lessens the likelihood that they'll fly off the handle when they get away to college on their own?
That's allowable in some cultures, but here in the States, that's illegal. We should not be supplying our children who are underage with alcohol.
Is that largely a myth, do you think, though?
I think it's a myth.
You think so?
It is a myth,
okay.
Yes.
All right, number 2, know your child, his or her friends, and their triggers, and make clear your expectations for your child. So, again, you're sort of giving them that responsibility, what you expect out of your young person.
That's right, and making clear that you have dreams, along with the dreams that they have for themselves, and helping to get there.
All right, and talk honestly, very important. And number 5, make sure they know what to do if they're ever in a crisis. Talk about that.
Well, sometimes they find themselves in an unfamiliar situation, and maybe other people are drinking. They should get themselves out of that situation. And if they do indulge, they need to know the signs of overindulging. If they begin to get ill, nauseous, skin turns blue or especially pale, they're in crisis and they need to be able to alert someone so that they can get medical attention.
Yeah. Is it a good idea for a parent to say, if you're ever in trouble, call me, I'll come and get you, and we'll sort the whole thing out later?
That's the absolute message. Call me, no questions asked, just let me come and get you.
All right, well, very good. Thank you so much for being here. Great to meet
you
today. And for more on Montgomery County Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services, you can go to our website, fox45now.com, and click on Fox 45 in the morning.